Hey everyone, how's it going? I wanted to try something a little bit different today in terms of the presentation of my Dead Cells runs. One of the things I have been struggling with lately is doing these commentary for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and sometimes what ends up happening is that I get exhausted, and a lot of runs that I really, really want to talk about, I don't get a chance to talk about it because I just dread like a 4 or 5 hour process of like doing the commentary and then editing it, and then it's just a hassle for me because I get really, really busy. So what I decided to do with this particular run was to just kind of put some highlights, things that I thought were noteworthy or kind of enjoyed, and I decided to splice it up a little bit. And actually, the inspiration came because I accidentally left my mic on during the recording because I was streaming the previous night, and I was watching a YouTube video at the same time as I was playing, and then the YouTube video is on the background. So I figured that I didn't really feel like having to go in and edit all the audio and then do a really, really long commentary. So I figured let's just do a highlights package. I'll talk about the highlights as they come along, and then we'll just kind of see what happens. So with that, enjoy the rest of this run. So this is an Assassin's Dagger run that I wanted to try out on Melee Tactics. I just really wanted to do this again without the aid of like something like a quick bow, which was one of the first runs that I ever posted on here. I really wanted to just put out the merits of like how good the Assassin's Dagger is. I end up using a weapon in the boomerang that gives me a lot of aid, but I really feel like the Assassin's Dagger did most of the work here. And right off the bat, we're just fighting elite, failed experiments, just kind of going all over the place. And I kind of have to run a little bit just to make sure that my flamethrower starts attacking the Inquisitor. But we're able to knock it out quickly, and then we're moving forward. So here we end up in Promenade, and here's another failed experiment. So a lot of these highlights will involve various elites, just different interesting things that happen throughout the run, including major hits that I took. And so with the failed experiment, I kind of like the little dodging that I did here. So I knew exactly the timing of how that was going to happen. So right here was kind of interesting because I have a shield, or the protector, and I don't know where that is, but we're able to find that elite bombardier very, very quickly, and then fortunately we get the kill, and then we get the boy's axe, and then we can just start snaring enemies and killing them. So it works great as a secondary weapon. And here's present depths. We have the very start. And I like the boomerang that I have right now. I ended up picking up a level 9 boomerang in between that had a bleed affix and 60% to bleed. And that's what I ended up taking with me for the rest of the run. And so this is just the curse, the entirety of the curse. I figured for all the curses I get, I'll show you guys. And I think what I can do now is that I can actually show some failed runs, because I really want to start doing that, because I had a failed run today that I thought was on pace to be my highest damage output ever, and then I stopped paying attention for a split second, and I ended up dying from that. So I think that'll be really interesting to show. Very salty about it, but I think it's good to show that side instead of just always winning. And that was the curse right there. And so here was an interesting fight with a knife thrower. The phaser actually killed it because it does damage. It does melee damage. And this is the curse in ossuary. So at this point, I have synergy all across the board with bleed. So my Assassin's Dagger does bleeding damage. My phaser does bleeding damage. I think my turret does, or at least it does poison. It does something. And so this is tricky because there is a shocker on the other side, and I can't get too close to it. So what I do is I jump to the platform and jump back to see where the range is, and then I jump back to a safe zone, kill the shocker, and then that's what allows me to kill this curse off. Yeah, and what the boomerang does really well is just basically stun enemies, so I don't have to worry too much. And Predator was a lot of help here, just throughout this run. And it actually kind of makes it more easy to do like this whole style, because then I can just do this whole thing continuously, get the clips together, put them all in order, and then just go from there. And if there was like there was a lot of dead zone I've noticed with some of my commentary. So right here is going to be the curse kill. That field experiment's going to jump behind me, so that actually makes my life a little bit easier. And so here's a bit of craziness right here. So that shocker uh, saw me, but I was able to kill at the last second. And then I have to kill the rest of these enemies as well. Because I'm trying to get to 60. But if that shocker would have hit me even just once, I would have been down to at least like 30%. And so this is the whole concierge thread. I'm going to be showing all the boss battles in their entirety. And this one was kind of a boring fight because in melee builds, it's really tough to get a vantage point on conjunctivity, especially with an assassin's dagger where it seems like it's impossible to get behind him for very long. And I'm actually still recovering from the flu, so this commentary is fairly difficult to do right now. Um, but we're still doing our thing, and I got a lot of good wins while I was sick. So that's the good news, I guess. Like I have a lot that I want to show you guys. Like there was a really cool meat skewer run that I did with boomerang. Boomerang has really shown itself to be an excellent weapon as far as secondary weapons. Not really good in terms of a primary weapon unless you're running double boomerang, but that doesn't have achievements on it. So I actually hit up Slumbering Sanctuary for one, so that was fun. And this is a very interesting elite fight because it's melee, and I'm very reliant on my phaser to do damage. So as soon as I hit the phaser, it's going to teleport somewhere else. So I have to get in a very small space like that to do any sort of hits. And I ended up aggroing a lot of enemies, but I was able to get the kill. Elite Golem, first one I've seen in ages. And then we barely get the kill. If I took one hit, I would have been down to 1 HP because a hit from a regular golem will bring me down to 1 HP, let alone an elite. And this is kind of just Predator doing its thing. I almost lost my 60 right there because of the lasers, but I do end up getting it later on, which I'll be able to show you guys. I pull up this Rampager so I can get the quick kill, and I use the phaser and Assassin's Dagger really to help me out against this golem. Phaser has a big range, so you can get to enemies from far away. And so this was the curse in Sanctuary, which is why I went there, because I felt like I needed an extra scroll to do the amount of damage that I wanted to do in this particular build. Now we're going to work on actually clearing this curse. And so this one was weird because that demon is protected, and I don't know how big that platform is, but it took a while for them to come, so I wasn't really sure what was going on. So I just decided just to drop down, see what's there, get my invisibility, and then I should be able to figure this out. Because that demon was not coming back. I don't know why. Like, demons aren't exactly what I would call slow. And so I do not want to aggro that golem. So just let's kill those two. And then we have just a couple enemies up there. We have the kamikazes, so we're fine there. And then we're going to wait for the golem. We clear the curse. We're going to wait for the golem to come back. I almost fall off. And then we're just going to do the ram rune on it. Those automatically kill enemies. And this was when I went for the 60. Had a bit of a wild end because I didn't realize that the Rampager and demons were protected. Oof. So I tried hitting it, and so he jumped past me, but he didn't run after me. So that was fortunate. And that was 60 right there. Didn't feel like battling any more enemies, so I said, screw it, let's go to Sepulcher. Yeah, this beginning the Sepulcher was wild. There were just so many enemies in so many places. That was kind of cool. The last riding Aura actually gave me the kill with Phaser. So one trick that you can do is that you have the grappling hook. So you can use a grappling hook and then Phaser and then use the Assassin's Dagger. I have it in my Assassin's Dagger Warpan runs. It's very, very fun to do. And so right here, my Predator got me the invisibility. So that I was able to get out of there without having to deal with any enemies. And that shield bearer actually died right there for some reason. So instead of only being able to kill 3 enemies, now I was able to kill 6 enemies on this particular map. That was really, really helpful. If you're wondering what YouTube video I was watching, it was Pokeyam, MD, and Blunder doing a video. Forgot on who it was on. I think it was on the new Pokemon Alcremie. I don't know what it is. It's like, yeah, very cool Pokemon though. I like it a lot, but it's definitely a weird design. Yeah, Aura just that was ridiculous. The Aura just like killed all those enemies like in a row, and that wasn't the only time that happened. Like it's so good. And I actually got a challenge ripped right here. I rarely ever get it in Sepulcher, but it's actually easier to see in Sepulcher because it's so dark, and the challenge rip doesn't actually blend into the background like it does in some other levels. And here I have Masochist, so I'm not that worried about taking a hit. The most I'll take from anything is 10%, which is good because this one was pretty hard because there were a lot of very, very precise jumps that you had to do. And one where I kind of had a little bit of bad luck. So this one right here is a tough jump. But I took 2 hits, and I only lost 20% from that, which was good, because otherwise I would have died if I hadn't had Masochist. Some more Aura shenanigans. And then making use of Predator right here. I actually used Phaser to push that Dark Tracker off the ledge. So that is another use of the Phaser. And this is the giant fight right here. Basically boomerang the hands, and then use the Assassin's Dagger on them. Boomerang the eye. The bleed should be able to get extra damage, and then the Lacerating Aura should be able to get me even more damage. So once I started doing that, that's when the damage started racking up for me. But the Phaser doesn't, so the Assassin's Dagger doesn't actually work with the Phaser because it's there's no like front and back to Giant like there are with like other bosses. The same problems with Conjunctivius, but like you can hit the back of the tentacles. So this was the end of the run, or the end of the fight, almost. I actually ended up on the outside of the lasers somehow, and we were able to perfect the giant, so that was really cool. And we decided to go to High Peak Castle because I ended up with 3 extra scroll fragments, and then there's 2 in High Peak Castle, so why not? So here was a very unlucky hit for me. That actually took away that laser. It's not supposed to do much damage, but it took away half my health. But luckily, I was able to get almost all of it back with the life steal from the aura. And so here's very, very cool dealings that I had with the mob. Just shredded all the enemies right there. And we're going to do the same thing right here. Although the Royal Guard definitely caused me a fair amount of problems. So this is another bit of craziness right here. So we basically try to kill all the Inquisitors on this map first. None of them can see me because I'm killing everything fast with Predator. And so this thing is shooting little laser things at me. And I'm just frightened at this point. And actually, that laser that goes up, I was lucky that it hit me because the demon was about to hit me too. So it was probably a good thing. So Boomerang takes care of the first elite. And that was nice. And then this is the second one. This one's a little bit slower because the flame turret doesn't work here. But we do it quickly. And the third one was the best one. Yeah, that was it. It took like a second. And then we aced the 60 after here. Yep, right here we aced the 60. And of course it wouldn't be a run without the craziness. And Hand of the King time. So now the run starts to fall apart a little bit here. So we'll see exactly what happened. But at first it went fine. It went perfectly fine at first. Unfortunately, I didn't have a platform to jump on, and I forgot about that. And I have to heal. But luckily, this was only in the first phase, not the second phase, so I was okay there. And quickly get him down. Almost at the end. He wouldn't have hit me on that strike. I had rolled well before he even tried. But we get the kill there. Take the one hit. And we're going to take another hit right here because I whiff. And Phaser completely fails me here. And I get so lucky with all the dodges. I got unlucky and then I got really, really lucky. So it all worked out for me. I just run away and let the Boomerang just finish it off. That's funny. So what happened there was that a Magistrate fell off because of my Phaser, and then it took forever for me to actually get my stuff. And this is going to be the first key right here. This takes literally no time. Basically, I put the cleaver down, use the Phaser, and then use the Boomerang. Crazy man damage. And same thing here, except I used Phaser with the Boomerang this time. So I timed that perfectly because you have invisibility when you are climbing up a platform. So not the timekeeper, the librarian wouldn't have been able to hit me. So I had actually shot my Boomerang before the Magistrate got there, and I knew when it was coming, it would kill instantly. So I just kind of I didn't have a choice but to big brain a lot of things, especially because I'd taken some pretty bad hits. So there's just speed right here. You don't necessarily need phaser with Assassin's Dagger. It's just such a natural synergy that they are almost always paired together, but you don't necessarily need it. And we got those double elites. They actually go down very, very quick. And I think one of them hit the vertical laser, and the other one was able to just fall and die. And this is the last one. This is the collector. We do a lot of damage very, very quickly. And we'll see exactly what happens. So we start off right away by throwing the boomerang and then using the phaser. He has a little bit of a wind-up time before he does that move. So we get him to heal twice before he has to go, before he goes up. So that's really good. And we do a significant amount of damage for his third one. So now we can do rest easy. Miss the boomerang swipe. And then we phaser him into the cleavers. So that's what was able to allow me to do it, to get him to heal again. And we do even more damage. And now he's going to be healing as soon as he comes here. So this was some of the fastest work that was the fastest I had ever been able to get him to heal. I missed that strike there, otherwise it would have ended right there, but doesn't matter. Get the kill there. That's the run. And this was actually a lot easier to do for me. Thank you all for joining me. Let me know in the comments if you want me to continue this or if you want those full formed runs. Maybe I can like upload both. But if it's like a full run that I don't want to do, like a full commentary for, then I'll just upload it without the commentary, and then I'll upload like a highlights package. So again, just let me know how this is. Maybe I can just do this going forward. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff if you want. You can follow me for more Dead Cells content. I'm gonna be doing some Pokemon soon. Maybe in the new year I'll get like a capture card or something like that. Play some VGC, play some Smogon, all that good stuff. You can follow me on social media. All my links are in the description. The build is in the description as well. And with that, I'll be signing off. Have a good night, everybody.